Hey everyone, welcome back. It's been a long time to another addition to the Grown Ass Women series. For those of you that don't know what that is or forgot because it was a really long time ago, this video series is directed toward a specific group of women. And I am talking about grown ass women. That means women who are past the age of either wanting to or have the ability to wear sparkly green eyeshadow, or they're just grown-ups now. They're out of college, they're past the high school years, or either in a professional work setting, or we need to present ourselves to the world, or we want to present ourselves to the world in a more mature, grown-up fashion. So I'm not referring to old people. I don't know any old people. I'm talking about grown-ass women. That could be someone who's 18, it could be someone who's 75, 85, and anywhere in between. Generally, I'm just referring to those of us ladies who have reached a point in our lives where we're kind of over the garish, crazy fun, but maybe not appropriate for our everyday life kind of makeup. And this is also intended as sort of a guide to those who are new to makeup, a little overwhelmed with all the choices. And it's my recommendation that you start with the basics, get comfortable with those kinds of things like neutrals and basic brushes. And then once you become more comfortable, if you want to expand to a little pop of color here and there, go for it. There are no rules, so please don't interpret this as me saying you cannot wear this. You can wear whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. That's what you're gonna look prettiest in. But if you wanna stick with basics, neutrals, and what's most appropriate for more formal settings, more everyday settings, then these are my recommendations. Also, a little bit of background. I can speak very confidently about makeup, color choices for women with my skin color, which is a complete lack of color. I'm very fair. I can speak with a little confidence on more mid-tone range complexions. And then when we get to the darker, more pigmented, let's just say, skin tones, I have no personal knowledge of what color blush would look good on you. And I'm sorry for that, but generally speaking, you will get a pretty good idea. And you're lucky because you can wear a lot brighter colors and they will look beautiful on your skin, and I would look like a clown. In general, on more mature skin, cream blushes are generally the most recommended product. In every video you watch and all the magazines, they're always going on and on about cream blushes. I personally, while I'd like to think I'm somewhat skilled in applying makeup at this point, I cannot master the cream blush. But for those of you that are interested, I really like these. These are by Bourjois. This is a drugstore brand. Come on and focus for me. This is a drugstore brand in the UK and in Europe. They're these little round pots, and I would put these on with a stippling brush. Mine are kind of old and dried up now. And they kind of blend really well into the skin, and that's why they're great for older, more mature, dry skin, because they do blend in very well. But I have a really hard time applying a cream blush, and so I think it just completely defeats the purpose if I can't do it. So for me, and I'm in a rush most of the time trying to get dressed, I prefer a powder blush. There are great blushes to choose from, be it drugstore and high-end and everything in between. The kind of blush that I liked for me is not a matte blush, not just flat matte, and not anything that has glitter or high sparkle sheen in it. I really like a soft blush that has a bit of a sheen to it. And the reason why, as we age and our skin does generally become drier, we lose, if you look at young, healthy, 13-year-old skin, 8-year-old skin, they glow. They have this inner light about them. And as we age, that glow tends to go away because our skin's aging, it's exposed to more pollutants and sun damage, and we're tired and we're dehydrated. So we fake it with blush. Blush is the best thing to put on when you're not feeling well. Fake it with a lot of blush. So in general, I'll give you some examples of what I'm looking for. When I'm really not feeling well, I reach for Benefit Rockateur because, and blushes do not swatch well in video, I apologize. I'll have to do an accompanying blog post showing swatches of this. But Rockateur, you can see in the package the sheen on this thing. And there's no glitter. It's not glittery. It's not gonna look like sparkles on your cheeks. But in general, it gives a lovely sheen to the cheek. It makes you look like you've been outside and flushed. That's the effect I personally think looks prettiest with blush. So Benefit Rockateur would be just your perfect example. However, I'm jumping around here. Let me give you some other suggestions. This blush is by Rimmel, and again, easily found overseas. You can get it on a bunch of websites. I'll put links below. This Rimmel blush, I think, is $3 or $4 US. It's called Santa Rose. It's a very basic pink. What you're looking for here, I think, is where you just have a nice flush, but nobody goes, oh, what blush are you wearing? You don't, I don't mind when people ask, I don't mind pretty much anything that people ask, but I would not want someone to go, oh, what kind of blush are you wearing? Because I don't want it to be the first thing people notice about my face. I just want it to look like it's sort of seamlessly blended into my skin. So this one is sort of on the lighter side. So this is great for fair skin, and it is a little bit matte, but it does have a bit of a glow to it. One of my favorite blushes is, or it's actually the whole collection of blushes is from e.l.f. e.l.f. makes a couple of really good ones. This one is Tickled Pink. So it looks, you know, it's on the brighter side, a nice healthy pink flush to the skin. And then another great one is Mellow Mauve. It's this one here. Looks like that. Another great drugstore option is NYX. You can get it online. I can get it at my grocery store. I know you can get it at Ulta. And one that I reach for a lot, especially in the summer, is Pinched. I think you can see the glow there. Mine is very old and dried up. It's years and years old. And there it is. I'm working with a new camera, and as you can see, I have not figured out how to get it to focus yet, but that's there. It's bright, but once you blend it in, and I'll show you some blushes to use for that, it livens up your cheeks, adds a little color to your face without being too much color. And by too much color, before we go too much farther, let me talk about what too much color looks like. This is what you want to avoid. Do you see that? Do you see the sparkles? Do you see the hot pink? When you're someone of my skin tone or even a few shades darker, this is not a good idea. If you're African American, this would be a beautiful shade without the chunky glitter in it because it will blend seamlessly into your skin. On my skin, I am gonna look like I am trying out for the Ringling Brothers Circus. Another great drugstore blush that I like that's very creamy and easy on the cheeks is Essence, and this one is called Sweetheart. I liked it so much I bought it 3 times without realizing that I had it. It's basically a little bit of pink, a little bit darker than my skin tone blended onto the cheeks. I'm gonna go through a few more blushes, then I wanna talk about some techniques. Smashbox makes a great range of blushes. It's the Blush Rush. I have it in Blush Rush Flush and Bear. I think Bear might be discontinued. Both of these, again, are great to reach for. We're getting a little more expensive. There is one MAC one that I wear a lot that is actually matte. It is MAC Tenderling, and I want to talk about this in just a minute about how I use matte blushes, because I do think you can use them and should use them, but in a certain way. Marc Jacobs, actually, I don't love everything about the Marc Jacobs collection. I know people just rave about it on YouTube, but one of the things they do very well is blush, and this one is Obsessed. I'm obsessed with it, especially in the summer. You can see that all of these have a sheen to it. That's what you're looking for. And then the last of the higher end ones that I reach for over and over again, one is an oldie but a goodie in my collection. It's NARS. They're all NARS. NARS Sin. It's more of a plummy tone, but do you see the shimmer? Not shimmer, but sheen. And then 2 matte shades that I've been wearing a lot. They're kind of matte. They're not flat, completely flat matte. This one is NARS Dessous, which I hear is being discontinued. And then my favorite one is Madly, which I didn't think I would like, but I actually love. There is a bit of a sheen to it, a luster, if you will. And then, if you have the money and you're willing to invest, I think the best blushes for the grown-ass woman are the Hourglass blushes. And I grabbed the blush palette so I can show you all 3. The reason why I think these are great are because the color options you have, you know, anywhere from a bright to a mid-tone to a pink. Even though they look very pigmented, they are very soft, very easy to blend. Not a lot of color on, you won't get a lot of color on the face. They're right there. So for those of us that are new to applying blush or have heavy hands like me, it's hard to mess this up. Because of the formulation, they just blend so seamlessly into the skin. So let me talk to you a little bit about the brushes I use to apply blush and the new method I've been using lately that I've been getting a lot of compliments here on YouTube about. So, brushes. For me, it's been the hardest thing to find a good blush brush. One that I used for years and years and years and still like a lot is the Sonia Kashuk blush brush, but I don't think they make it anymore. I like how small it is, and I like that it comes to a point so I can just literally just, not with the tip, but with the side, just stamp it onto my face, and then with the tip, blend it away. Let me show you, this is the Real Techniques blush brush. Look at the size of this guy compared to this one. It's huge. This is not what you want for a blush brush. It is literally the size of the whole side of my face. This would deposit way too much color. I prefer, and what I use every day, is the Real Techniques multi-purpose brush, which is part of a set. You can see the head is much smaller, it's much denser, it's much more compact. So I just dip it into my blush, this is not blush, and stamp it onto the apples of my cheeks and then blend it back. For me, that is working the best. For those of you that like a little more precise application, this one is a Sedona lace brush. MAC makes one, Sigma makes one. It's smaller as compared to it's smaller, it's denser. It can really pack on a lot of color and then you can blend it. I think this is a little too dense for a blush brush, but some people like that smaller, more precise application, so that's what they use. Now, speaking of application, for matte blushes, I think matte looks really good on older skin as long as you still leave some sheen on your face. Now, how do you do that with a matte blush? Well, what I've been doing the last couple of weeks, and everyone has been noticing it on my videos, but they weren't sure why I had that glow, is I take a large fan brush and I take my highlighter and I put it not just on the tops of my cheekbones, but across the apple of my cheek as well, in this whole area right here. Then I take my regular blush brush and the blush of my choice and stamp it right over the highlighter and blend it right over the highlighter. That has given me the most beautiful glow on my cheeks. It lasts all day long. I think it's the layering and it makes the blush just look seamless on my face. So that is in general the blush for grown-ass women. I know I've recommended a lot of high-end blushes. I will tell you this, yes, I have a large collection of blushes. It's part of what I do for a living, so that's why. But in general, I think most women can get away with one or maybe two blushes. So if you're gonna have one blush for a really long time, and you can go for, I say invest in a good NARS blush or grab the Hourglass, not the whole palette, just pick one. I personally had one blush probably for years and years and years before I started YouTube. There's no reason to have a summer blush and a winter blush and all this stuff. If you find one blush that suits your skin tone, that's really all that you need. If you're more fair skin, pink is great in the pink tones. If you're more olive skinned, a peachier tone is great. If you're darker skin, even a red undertone will work great on your skin. But anyway, I hope that's been helpful. I know it's been a long time in between grown-ass women videos. It's getting harder and harder to make these because it's so specific to skin type and skin color and all that, but I hope this at least is a great start. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Now the trail ended at the San Antonio Zoo, and we ended up renewing our family membership. It's been since 2005, but hey, and we really do the bathroom, so we decided to buy a membership.